Small Engine Nation, how you doing? Good morning to you. It's Wednesday. It's freezing today. You can tell by how cold it is because of all the moisture coming out of my mouth, right? So today, I'm getting to the nitty-gritty. I don't have too many things to fix anymore. You know, there's a couple of small little things in the backyard. My Cub Cadet front left tire is down. And, you know, I've got that Murray in the back. I haven't figured out what I want to do with it yet. Hey, what's up, Jerry?
Morning.
I'm not talking to myself.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I am. This is a Toro recycler. Just a deck that I got from, I don't even remember where I got it from. But I've been dreading on working on this because there's all kinds of stuff wrong with it. Number one, obviously, it came with no engine, you know what I mean? Or maybe it came with an engine, but it was busted or something, I don't remember. Belt's trashed. It's like rounded, you know? Front wheels are seized. They won't turn, you know? So this thing would have to be taken apart and all that stuff, but I'm not going to mess with that. I know I'm not going to be able to get this this thing going today for sure because I need too many things. I need too many parts and there's too many unknowns, right? But this video is going to be targeted towards a thing that I've never done before. And I'll show you what I've never done before. So I have 3 quantum engines spares, all right? So I'll show you. This one here is a quantum engine, right? And as you can see, now I don't know if this works or not. There's an engine I got from a trade. Just came with some stuff. It's missing the carburetor. It's missing the air cleaner base. It's missing the air cleaner as well as the air cleaner cover. It's missing the top cover to the engine. And of course you need a brake cable. And if I was going to put this on and get it to work, I would need a drive control cable, you know, that activates the self-propulsion. Rear wheels are kind of seized too. They don't really move, so it's difficult to get this deck back and forth. So I have, oh, another interesting part of this engine is, this is an auto choke version. As you can see from this Air Vane over here, right? You need the Briggs carburetor for the Quantum that also has a tab on the top where it can, this Air Vane controls the choke flap to the carburetor. I don't have any one of those carburetors, okay? Now this engine over here is also a quantum engine. They're identical. Well, identical in a way that they're both quantum engines. This one has the air cleaner cover, has the air cleaner, has the air cleaner base. But this is a primer version, and it has a good carburetor on it. Why do I know that? Because this engine, if you guys remember, where's this engine from? This engine is from that red Craftsman push mower that smoked a lot, right? So I know this engine runs, it just smokes, all right? So the carburetor is clean because it was running, and I cleaned it. What I'm going to try to do today is, I'm going to try to put this cover, that air cleaner assembly, that carburetor, that primer type carburetor setup, and try to adapt it to fit on an auto choke engine. So I think basically what I got to do is, I just got to remove this top part here, right? The recoil starter assembly that's attached to the gas tank. Remove the air vane, right? And attach the primer assembly onto it, and then it should work. I've never done that before. I've never converted a auto choke to a non-auto choke engine. So that'll be kind of interesting. I'm kind of curious as to whether or not that would work or not, you know? I think it would, because I think the only difference is the carburetor and the addition of that air vane, you know? Once you have a primer, you'll be able to start it. I don't know the condition of the recoil starter. I haven't tried to pull it yet, and I'm going to need a brake cable to, you know, compress the brake kill switch over there so that it releases the brake. So it releases the brake so I can pull it, you know? That's what I'm just going to do today, and we're going to mount this engine after I convert it onto this thing here, and work on this slowly because, again, I don't have the parts. I don't have the cable that goes to here. I don't even know if this works. I don't have, I mean, I might have a belt, you know. And I'd like to unseize the wheels, you know. Also later, I got a letter from Mercedes-Benz. And they have what's called a voluntary bulletin. It's not exactly a recall, but you see, there's a difference between bulletins and recalls. So recalls are mandated by the government, usually the Consumer Product Safety Commission, right? And they say your so-and-so is not safe enough for consumer use. You gotta fix this or you'll be in big trouble. You know, we'll like fine you every day for the rest of your life or something if you don't fix it. And there's lawsuits and stuff like that for the manufacturer. Well, a bulletin is where the company, like Mercedes for example, voluntarily does it because they're afraid of a recall of it, you know? So they're willing to go and spend, you know, their own money and fix your shit, you know? And so it's for my E350 Mercedes-Benz 2012. I've never had a problem with this car since I bought it. It's fantastic, you know, it's my favorite car ever. And so the bulletin is, they want to replace this bolt that's on the steering column because it has been known to be defective and break and cause wear or something to the steering column. So they're going to fix this thing for free. That's right, free, because I got a letter. So I made an appointment with Mercedes today, and I'm going to go in. Are you ready for this? This is a 9-hour job. My wife did it last month when she took her car in for a sensor for low air coolant, right? Some of you guys might remember that. And she got that loaner, and it was a white C400 or something like that. And I drove that car around, and it was fun. It was a good car. And that's when I did that video with Jason Pate at Pate's Performance. And we went over to Lowe's and did that snowblower review, if you guys remember that. Well, so my car has the same issue, you know. I think they're changing most of all the Mercedes within that year. And so I got an appointment like in an hour. Bring my car in. They're going to give me a loaner. And then that'll be that. I guess I'll be back here. But I'm just going to try to do as much as I can before I got to leave, you know. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to disassemble the top part of that and remove all those things that I need and remove this and get rid of this air vane and stuff. And as you can see, because it's so cold today, I had to start up my kerosene space heater. Now this is what I was talking about yesterday, where you see the flames are peaking over the top. Well, somebody told me you can't have it because it'll burn your wick out. So I'm just going to turn this knob a little bit. So now the flames are not peaking over the top, so that's burning more efficiently, I think, is what they said. Love it. So it's already annoying, you know why? Because you have to remove these 3 5/16 bolts, right? Well, it only has one on there, so I know somebody's probably been in here before. So I removed them. Here's the one. And now there are 4 3/8 bolts to remove the cover. Now remember, I'm removing the cover because I want to get rid of the air vane. There's a 4 3/8 bolts that holds the engine cover onto it. You have to also remove this one 5/16 over here off the, wait for it, that holds the dipstick on here. Dipstick?
Cletus, you know what you are? You're a dipstick. A 14-karat dipstick.
So for you guys who aren't familiar with the auto vane, the auto choke, let me show you how it works. So there it is right there. There's the cover off of it. Okay, so here it is. Let's see if you can see perfectly. Yeah, you can. Alright, so this thing just sits just like that. Okay? And basically, when it's like this, the part that goes onto the carburetor here, the carburetor that I don't have, that has a thing that sticks up that you mount a screw into and holds it there, right? It the spring keeps it closed. So the choke plate, that carburetor has a throttle plate on the inside and a choke plate on the outside. The other Quantums that are primer don't have a front choke plate, okay? So with this spring here, it keeps the choke flap closed so that when you pull it, right, it's under choke and it'll start, usually in one pull. And then once the muffler over here heats up, right, it's attached to like a thermostat mechanism, right? And when it slowly heats up, this thing here pushes forward. When it pushes forward, it pushes this little thing forward like that, right? When it goes like that, this thing pivots, right, like that. It pivots, and it opens the choke plate. So then you can start it again when the engine's warmed up. It's pretty ingenious, actually. I really like the auto choke ones. And yes, it looks like it's just sitting here loose and stuff, and that's how it works, you know? It just sits there loose. It's basically the screw over here. This is very light, you know? The screw over here is held onto the this post on the carburetor, and so it's supposed to freely move like that very easily. As you can see, that there's almost like a sail here, you know, a big flat surface here with the fins. The air, while it's turning, also blows this forward too. You know, it helps it forward. You know, really pretty cool idea. So to remove the air vane, simply just take it off, you know. This could be worth money. I could sell it. I mean, not a lot of money, you know, maybe $5 or $10 and stuff, but I have a feeling that I might need this someday, so I'm just gonna keep it. Again, I don't know if this engine runs, see, so I'm just gonna have to put it together and figure it out, you know. In the meantime, we have this muffler that has this thermostat mechanism here, which is different from a regular Briggs & Stratton muffler, but you know what? I'm just going to keep it there, you know what I mean? I mean, I could remove the muffler and put a regular muffler on, but honestly, it's not a big deal. You know, I'll just leave that there in case I do run into, let's say I don't get this working today, you know, and I definitely need the auto choke type carburetor. I'll run into it someday, or I'll go buy one. It's like $8 to $10, something like that, and I'll put it on, and it'll be an auto choke one, which is more desirable. At least to me, it is. You know. So what am I doing now? Oh well, since I got all this crap off, I'm gonna take this apart and take this assembly off and put it on here. Remember, I know that this engine works. So you just take a Phillips, there's two wood screw type looking things. Just take the top cover off. And again, we have those 3 5/16. Wait a minute, you know what? Why do I have to remove that? I don't need to remove it. You know why we don't need to remove it? I mean, eventually I will, but because I have to strip this engine down, it smokes, you know, so I don't want it. I need to remove this. I forgot. Can you believe that? I don't know why I was removing all that. You don't need to remove all that to take this off. So this is just the air cleaner cover. Holy cow. I remember now. This thing ran without even me doing anything. Just put gas in and it ran. Surprisingly. I've done a ton of these on my channel. As you guys know, it's 3 5/16 that hold this base on. This cover just comes off. Breather hose. It's dirty. And it's 2 3/8. Well, first you have to take the fuel line out. I don't know if there's any fuel in it. Let me check. There is no fuel in it. So I'm just going to disconnect the hose clamp. Pull the fuel hose off. It's hanging there, nothing's coming out, as you can see. Like I said, 2 3/8 bolts that hold the carburetor onto the just do a pivot. There's the carburetor. This thing ran, you know, so carburetor's good. Alright. Is it so easy as to just replace it with this? Because honestly, I think that's what it is. Let me brush this off. So I brushed off the carburetor and I was looking through it, and it does just seem like you just remove the air vane and it's like a regular setup, you know. Well, you know what? I'm missing an O-ring. You need an O-ring for that. Because when you put it on, it didn't seem very snug. I just grabbed the O-ring off of that one. Just slipping it over here. And now I'm going to put it on. And it seems a little better. That 3/8 bolt back on. Okay. I think that's it. I want to attach the fuel line on here. Hose clamp. Here's the air filter base with the primer bulb on it. And you need the 3 5/16 screws. One more to hold the base to the frame. It's good. Move this throttle back and forth. So there's no flap, no butterfly flap here. Feels pretty good. Here's the recoil starter, and I know I didn't check it before, but this feels good. Because it's off of the cup of the flywheel, it can freely move without the brake kill on it. Oh, this is so difficult. Put the 2 3/8 bolts on the front. Two on the back. .5/16 to replace the dipstick back onto the cover. The gas tank back over it and find the 3 5/16 that hold the gas tank onto it. It's so hard to work with gloves on. Can't get the feel of anything. And that doesn't seem right. Just doesn't seem right. I don't think I have the right bolt on here. Of course it couldn't be that easy. Never is it that easy. It's always going to be something. So when I was going to go and find some bolts to mount this engine, right? What do I see? I see one hole here. And then I see a busted bolt in there and a busted bolt in here. Well, you know, I might have tried to mount it with just 2 holes, but honestly, when 2 holes are blocked, you can't just mount an engine with 1, you know. What do I gotta do? Well, I gotta try to drill these 2 out. And I have those extractor thingamajigs. Never worked. I've never had an extractor bit that took out these bolts. So usually I'm just going to take a small drill bit and drill a small hole, take a bigger drill bit and drill a bigger hole, and then just put some bolt through there with a nut on the other side just to hold both these down. So this is going to take quite a while. I may have to head on out to my dealership and then come back later and do it. So I'm at the Mercedes dealer. There's my car right there. Just came in here waiting for the service advisor is what they call it. So I'm at his office waiting for him. So I'm getting a loaner, right? So I need my information to use your insurance for it. So I'm getting a loaner. This is my loaner. Yeah. This is the new E300. Look what happens when you open the door. I don't really like the new E-Series because of the rounded corners. Seems smaller too. So the fob key is the same kind. You just put in your pocket, press engine start, step on the brake. So this car is pretty new, has 7,000 miles on it. It's got this interior mood lighting, so it's purple. I think it changes color depending on time of day or something. So I drilled holes, the 2 holes, I drilled them out. I had enough so that I could put some 2 3/8 bolts in there. It's a 5/8 regularly, but I could stuff 2 3/8 bolts in there. Found a blade adapter that had the attached pulley for the propulsion. Found a 22-inch blade. Found the bolt to put the blade in to the crankshaft, and I kind of figured out why the front wheels were seized. Can you believe that? Is that crazy or what? That's like, that's not moving because of that, you know? So that's good, I think. I'm going to use my grinder, just cut some of that off. Just took the grinder, whoosh, right through. So I removed all the crap. However, it's still not really turning at all. I have a feeling that some of that stuff went into the gearbox. So I'm going to remove these torque screws there, take the bottom part of that gearbox off, and see if all that, the twine and the vines and the stuff got, reeled into the gearbox. So I removed the cover, and it doesn't appear to have any vines or twine or rope that was sucked in there. Cover looks okay too. So I'm going to put it back on, and still can't turn it. Take the wheel off. So I took off all 4 wheels, and I just put some penetrating oil. As you can see, it's kind of bleeding over here. There's a lot of rust and dirt buildup in between the shaft of the wheel and it being running smooth. And also, you saw I took all that twine out of here, Look at that. Before you couldn't even really push this, Now it's free flowing. So you know what? I just need to find a brake cable now. Can you believe I actually found a cable that fit? I'm amazed. I was just about to put some gas in when I saw that the gas tank had a lot of dust in it. The wind blows. Sometimes my camera falls down too. Gas tank is now clean. Just putting a little bit of gas in there. Just so we can kind of run it, you know what I mean? You guys think this will work? I'm a little skeptical. Remember, carburetor should be good because it ran on that red push mower. You know, it just smoked a lot, so carburetor should be good. Gonna give it a couple of primes, see if it primes. Let me see if I see anything. Ah, it is priming. I see wetness and drippage. Wetness and drippage. Find a bracket to hold this. Here we go. Some time now. Smoke stop is very good. There's a lot of oil that came out of the muffler because I had it on its side mounting the engine. The muffler is filled with oil. All of it shot out. Smoke was burning it inside. And now it stopped smoking, meaning that there's no more oil in the muffler. I think the self-propulsion works too. I can get a cable, run it onto the apparatus. Once you pull it, it'll move. It wants to move right now. How about that, huh? I'm pretty stoked. I didn't think this thing would run today. Honestly, I didn't. First pull too, so. Very nice. Not bad at all. I'm gonna clean that Earl up and see if I can find a cable for that. So I got a handle for the brake thing and a handle for the self-propulsion, but I don't have a cable for it. I'm gonna have to go deep, deep, deep in my shed to find that. So unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to get the self-propulsion working because I don't have a cable. And I'm not going to buy a cable. What do you think about that? That's right, not going to. I'm just gonna put this thing on. I'm gonna leave this in the backyard, and one day I might come across a cable. Or maybe I'll go check it out and see how much it costs, you know. In the meantime, I'm just gonna put this back on, and unfortunately, while I was messing with this all day, pretty much, my car is ready. I didn't even get the beat on that loaner. Can you believe that? I was gonna take it to like the Hamptons or something. Go driving for like 3 hours. Maybe I could have taken it to Atlantic City. I could have taken it somewhere, but I didn't take advantage of it. I just let it sit in my driveway. I did go pick up my daughter with it, but that's about it, you know. Where can I find this thing? Here, and this was missing the little loop thing where you put this thing through. I got a loop thing. So I'm just missing a handle to the. I'm just missing the handle. Not the handle. The cable to the self-propulsion. I think once I get a cable, it will actually work. I do have half of a cover for this, but I don't think I'm going to put it on yet. I mean, this still looks ugly too, you know. It is a Toro thingamajig, but it's missing half of it, so I don't think I'm going to put it on. On the other hand, if you look at this thing over here, the person that had this last, they just rigged it like this, you know. It's not even a stem. It's a coat hanger here. I have this thing. I don't know what it's from. This works, you know. I don't know if it matches with the holes. I could do some self-tapping screws in there and just cover that up. But I gotta go pick up my my car from the Mercedes dealer and return the loaner. Can you believe that, guys? I didn't even get a chance to beat on this car. You know what I mean? At least drive it around somewhere, you know? Alright, watch this, guys. I want to show you something. I'm going to put it in reverse, okay? Look at that. That's supposed to be me. How does it know? Like, how is there a camera? You know what I mean? I mean, obviously the car looks like a fake car. But, I mean, still, how do you... Look, you could see the road. Unbelievable. That is fancy schmancy. Fancy schmancy. That's a shame. I gotta return this car. I like it. So I'm back. I fixed this. Put a rod through there. And then this needs some Earl. It's almost no Earl in there. It's like not even up to the add line. I'm just going to add a little bit of Earl there using some SAE 30 from my friends over at Lucas Oil Products. That ought to do it. I'm going to check the levels. Like I said, What we did today was basically we repowered a deck with absolutely no engine in it, right? And we rebuilt that engine, not really rebuilt it, but we took an engine that was an auto choke engine, and we converted it from an auto choke engine to a primer bulb engine. And works great. All we had to do is just remove the air vane and put a primer bulb air filter base on there. Engine runs good. It seems like the self-propulsion is freed up because it had all that rope and twine entangled inside the axle. I lubed up the joints with penetrating Earl, and it now moves freely. And if I come across a drive cable, I'll install it, and it looks like it'll work. Basically, it's a little hook that hooks onto this hole right over here, and goes onto this. And when I engage the handle, it pulls it tight like that. So I need a drive control cable for the propulsion, and eventually I'll need a cover for this Toro. You know, I'll come across one. I'm not going to go buy one. You know what I'm saying? It's just getting a deck, putting use to a deck just sitting in my backyard, you know, and putting use of an engine just sitting around, you know, making a working lawnmower. Old filter still works. Check the levels. Cool. It's good. There it is. I am finished with this project today. Repowering a deck without an engine, converting an auto choke engine into a primer bulb engine. And it doesn't smoke. Or at least it didn't. Alright, let's try it one more time. Very cool. That was kind of fun. Took me most of the day, in and out, you know, getting my car ready and all that. So everything's all settled. Man, after this, I really don't have much to do at all. I've got a couple of leaf blowers. I don't really want to work on those. But I'll see what I come up with. There's always something to do, you know what I mean? I'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers. Well, I've got some fuel left in this gas tank, so I might as well just hover around my yard. Just use it up, you know? Gotta prime it. It's no longer an auto choke.
expert opinion for a second?
Oh, good God, it's Andy, my neighbor. It's bugging me.
Comes over and he says, "Hey Henry, my generator won't start." I walk over here, he presses the button. No problem. So that's my neighbor Andy. He's the British fella. He was the one that said, if you guys remember my LTV 10 Sears lawn tractor, that thing was like a piece of junk, you know what I mean? And so when I brought that home, he goes like this, "You not came to fix that, that's a piece of junk. You'll never get that running." And I says, "Oh, that's motivation enough for me to get it running." As you guys saw, I got it running. I eventually took the engine off and used it on something else, and I sold the parts of the carcass to some nut in Florida who wanted like the hood and the transmission and stuff, and so I, you know, made some okay money on that, whatever, and I got rid of the rest. But anyway, you know, that's not the first time that I have like the magic touch, you know. He comes over here and he says, "Hey Henry, my generator won't start. It's the first time ever that it hasn't started, you know. Can you come and take a look at it?" And so of course I walk over there, and the minute I walk over there, turns it on, turns on. There's really no point on mowing because we had snow, a little bit of dew and some flurries this morning, and it's so cold that all the leaves are frozen to the ground, so I can't really mulch it up. But anyway, that was today's video. I don't know if I had any fun or not, but it was kind of interesting to know that you can convert a auto choke engine into a primer bulb, you know, setup, and it was pretty easy too, you know. So this deck, while it was just sitting there rotting away, now it's got an engine on there, starts, runs, mows. I just need to get a cable and belt cover. Thanks for joining me again, guys. I'll see you later. I'm running out of room. I don't have any place to put these things. Might have to get another shed or something. Hey guys, support my channel, buy a sticker. Also follow me on Instagram at Mowers Blowers. Check out my website, mowersblowers.com. See you guys on the next project. Have a great day.